I'm looking forward to part two. I'm really looking forward to part two, Omamori section. That is really cool. Thank you so much for making history for me. Honestly, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
I'm still honestly in shock that my favorite YouTuber and a huge inspiration of mine actually watched my video, the full thing, on a live stream. But I'm back for the promised part 2 after calming down and watching Project Ghost Town a couple hundred more times. First, however, I want to change a few things about my current theory on Ghost Town, because despite saying
I'm not, like I said, I don't want to confirm or deny anything right now.
there are a few things that can be deduced from your reaction, Trickle, and the part you actually confirmed was off. I'll start by admitting I kinda went for my most outstretched theory, to see how it would go and to see what stuck. And here's what I gathered from his reaction. The cat was at least important to Trickle, although maybe not as important to the plot as I made it. Mastermind Cat isn't completely out of the question, though. Trickle wasn't ran over, but I'm almost sure fell off. I didn't and don't want to go straight into saying your character was depressed and jumped, if there's a chance he didn't. So I'm keeping that open until confirmed. Especially since, thanks to Commander Sakana, I remembered the manga panels where it literally shows him stepping off. Not to mention the following visuals in Trickle YT's when I mention depression, death, and harm, which will be mentioned. There's also this. So yeah, at least at one point he stepped off a roof of a tall building, whether on his own accord or otherwise. That is, of course, if he is dead. I'll also admit Shoku being at the end of Ghost Town I got from a live stream, not myself. I watched both the Meet Shoku and Shoku Eats Applesauce streams before this. Which is also why I knew a lot more lore than Trickle thought he put out, since, yeah, 10 months to a year ago will do that. Also, that hand is definitely supposed to be the same size with Trickle YT's reaction. So he was probably bullied when he was younger, or at least once that really stuck. Lastly, no doubt that Shoku likes applesauce. I'm subscribed and supported the plushie, so Shoku can't attack me. And you should too for protection. Not to mention his channel is overall more than worth subscribing to. But at least check out Project Ghost Town yourself. Trust me, it's better watched on its own before this theory video. So let's get into it once again, shall we? First, I want to thank Sakana, as he, or she, really helped me theorize for this in the comments of my last video. He brought up a lot of good questions and topics that I'll cover in here and more specifically in the next video. So thank you. So, Omamori. It has a lot less flash frames, but still just as much, if not more lore, especially in the lyrics, which I will focus on in this video. Then I'm thinking of making separate videos on the visuals and mine and Sakana's theories, since there are some really worth mentioning in that thread of comments. Now, as I was listening to the 3 songs for the 100th time for lore, I started to realize some things with the lyrics. First, Ghost Town, Omamori, and even Homunculus seem to be about running and hiding, although all in different tenses. Ghost Town is in the future tense, Trickle saying he's wanting to run and hide when looking in the mirror, probably because of trauma. Homunculus, which was posted second, Limon is currently running and trying to hide from his shame, so present tense. Lastly, we have Omamori, which is in the past tense, Trickle singing that he tried to run and hide. Obviously in Omamori, this is a reference to Ghost Town, since this takes place after those events. In Homunculus, however, I have a small theory on why it uses those words, since they're obviously connected. I'm pretty sure Trickle YT has at least hinted that Limon was one of the first Yami Trickle meets. What if it's that connection? That experience of being depressed and running from it that connects them, which may even be what pushes Trickle even more to want to help free the Yami from their immortality and a seemingly vacant or cool person in charge. I also think Omamori's lyrics change perspective about halfway, since the beginning doesn't seem overly optimistic, but a bit hopeful considering he just died and appeared in a mysterious world he knows nothing about. I mean, he's not sure what his purpose is, but he wants to try. He also refers to himself multiple times as my or me in the first verses. Then, after he lets Shoku out, it changes. Darker lyrics about rage, being trapped, and not wanting his purpose, almost vengeful. Not to mention referring to an unknown person as you, saying he saw whoever pray and cry. I think this is Shoku referring to Trickle praying and crying, since it is confirmed that he at least cried on the first day, both in video and a stream. Not to mention, that part has the voice he uses for Shoku, with the lower and what Shoku sounds like on his own, because it's definitely not the same voice at all. At least, according to Butcher Vanity and live streams. And Shoku not wanting a second chance, it adds to him wanting revenge no matter what. In fact, it kind of reminds me of CL from Black Butler, given multiple chances at redemption, but being so set on his revenge that he refuses. His only goal to kill his abuser, not wanting another purpose than what he set for himself, let alone wanting a blessing. Meanwhile, I find it hard to believe someone who can make this face could want so much vengeance without at least Shoku's influence. Also, as I was making this video, I decided to look more into the descriptions of various things, like merch products. Most are goofy, like a couple of my favorites. I've realized in my last life that I need this shirt. Or, everything has a poster, right? Wake me up when you've hung mine. But a few seem interesting, almost like they're quotes. Deep bits of lore hidden in plain sight, such as, "Thank you for riding with us. Have yourself a great night. And welcome," he said, "to Ghost Town. The last thing I remember. Something there. Something cold and hungry. I'll make sure your prayers are heard. And there's a hunger inside that I can't satisfy." The first seems to be from the conductor of the terminus, the train in Omamori, who I have no idea how to spell his name. Busu?
You mean Busu, maybe?
Maybe YouTube subtitles are accurate? Rarely. Next is either Trickle or Shoku. I would say Trickle because he's more prominent on the shirt, but Shoku is a part of it too, depending on what point this quote is. This, I'm not sure. I really don't think it's Shoku, Limon, or Busu. Perhaps who bound them? Who brought Trickle to Ghost Town? The current one in control of Ghost Town? Maybe even Kumo. Or someone we haven't met or heard of yet. Which, side note, I did find Kumo. He's this little guy at the end, and in the sticker sheet. And this last one I'm pretty sure is Shoku. I mean, it's saying he can never satisfy his hunger, and it's a Shoku poster. For my last serious analysis and theory for this video, I want to go over Limon a bit more, since there's not really enough to make a full video on him yet. But both me and my dad have a feeling that Limon is based on Isaiah 64:8, or, "We are the clay and you are our potter." Basically saying that God created us, and he's in control. Except, Limon is trying to mold himself rather than letting the potter, turning to anything to feel alive, on his own accord rather than anyone else's. Meanwhile, Mud and Muddon are basically good and evil, Jesus being the lamb, and what might not be literally but basically Satan being the wolf, telling Limon he will achieve nothing, that no one wants him, only feeding his depression while filling him with worldly desires. Although, despite Muddon defeating Mud, Limon still chooses his own desires, accepting Mud's influence. I could just be reading too far into this, but once again, that's just a theory. A ghost town theory. Thanks for watching. This isn't Trickle's, but Limon's coma dream, since between the beginning and end of Homunculus, he obviously fell off his bike. Shoku's favorite color is pink, proof he said it himself in a totally serious live stream.
Take one look at me, boy. What do you think my favorite color is? It's actually pink. That's my favorite color.
Trickle is secretly losing his sanity with Shoku, or is already a psychopath and came up with all those methods to torment the Limon plush and non-subscribers. Even Shoku confirmed that all but maybe peeling was Trickle's by not wanting to lie, not to mention Shoku has never even been to the human world, meaning he doesn't necessarily know human devices. He didn't even know what a hydraulic press was. Trickle's arms are actually noodles. Wait, no. I'm still honestly in shock that my favorite unit. Yep, my favorite unit. I'll start by admitting that I kinda went for my most outstretched Siri. Yep. This is, of course, if I'm subscribed and supported the plusy, yep, then what he sees. Yep. Have your maybe YouTube what? Trickle is secretly losing his sanity with Soku, those methods to torment. Yep. Trickle is secretly losing his sanity with Shoku has never even Shoko. Also, please check out my first Whip mini comic about my OC Kumo. I'd really like any and all feedback and tips.